Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Amit Chanapwe. Kunla Dewale and TVTF are with me on the program today, and we'll be taking a look at some issues you want to catch up with, not just the report, but the accompanying analysis. And we give you deep analysis in such a way that you know the color of water that passes under the bridge. Now, the United States is becoming increasingly interested in Nigeria's domestic affairs. And no doubt, the posture of the United States, not just as a government. Some time ago on this program, we talked about and analyzed what we saw was some insinuations that the US is interested in a Muslim-Christian ticket and is frowning at Muslim and all that. Now, some senators, some congressmen in the US who have also visited Nigeria in fact-fighting mission have drafted a new bill seeking to impose sanctions on some Nigerian politicians, notably Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. They're also seeking the designation of some organizations such as the Mietiala Cattle Breeders Association and the Mietiala Kotehore as terrorist organizations, and indeed sanctions to be meted out to them. But as I welcome my colleagues to weigh in, it's becoming more interesting. Is it that lobbyists, remember the Nigerian government said pro-IPOB lobby groups have been active in US, and so it signed its own contract and engaged its own lobby group, paying as much as $9 million. Expect individuals, expect political parties to also key in like the APC did in prior to 2015. You will see candidates, you see interest, go to US to engage lobby groups to push their interest, because they know US interest in Nigeria will help to determine the outcome of the next general election.
Morning, Amici, morning to TV and all our viewers on YouTube, as well as our listeners across the world. Interesting times we live in. Interesting times, I must tell you. And one of the interviews that I watched on the program you anchor on our sister station, Focus Nigeria, Wole Adebayo, asking the question, why is it the Congress in the US that is that's holding a sitting, a public hearing on issues in Nigeria?
Congressional hearing, yes.
Yes, the congressional hearing, when the National Assembly is not holding any on insecurity in Nigeria. You will begin to ask yourself questions. What is the strategic interest of the US in Nigeria? Secondly, you begin to ask yourself, what is the strategic interest of those who are lobbying the United States government, whether the legislature or the executive over there, to intervene in issues in Nigeria, collaborating with Nigeria on insecurity, to fight insecurity.
Putting boots, American boots on ground for the first time.
Yes, we are told now.
I remember when just after independence, Nigeria wanted to sign a defense pact with the United Kingdom to put some boots on ground, the way it was resisted by students, by activists. This time around, everybody, some people are even saying it's a blessing.
Well, times have changed.
Yes.
If you take a look at it that way, times have changed because today, the kind of awareness that Nigerian students back then had of military boots, British military boots on ground in Nigeria, was very fresh. A lot of people, more than of what military rule was like in Nigeria, talk less of what foreign military presence in Nigeria could portend for the country. But that's something I want to just keep on one side. I want to specifically address the issue of these lobbying things. Everybody is pushing a certain interest. Now, the question is, what is the strategic interest of the Nigerian government in Nigerian affairs? Because if our affairs have become a big issue in the United States that is driving government
policy. Has already.
So how is it in our own estimation as a people and as a government? Now, we are seeing insinuations that the likelihood of Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, Mietiala, and of course all the other Fulani militias, as they have been tagged by Senator Riley, sorry, is it Representative Riley? I mean, yeah,
Let's say Congressman
Riley. Now, all of these, they seem to wear political toga. Is it tailored towards 2027?
Or even 2031?
Or 2031? Are there political undertones to all of this? Because, like you always say, there are various colors of water passing under the bridge.
The thing is that with Kwankwaso's name in U.S. Congress and U.S. politics, and very soon in already in Capitol Hill, it will feature in White House, his involvement in terms of elective, his involvement in elective position in Nigeria in 2027. No party will want to go near him.
Exactly.
Yes, no party will want to go near him. That's the insinuation we are getting. That is a smart move to take him out. Some people also say that it goes beyond 2027. That some interests in the North are already looking at 2031. That those of them that may pose as a threat to some people's ambition are being taken out one way or the other.
Let me just say quickly, before I move on to comment on that, that only God knows who will see tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to make any further comment.
Okay.
Only God knows who will wake up tomorrow morning. We don't know. Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. You only have today. So whatever it is anybody is planning concerning 2027 or 2031 or 2035, think about it, that life is in the hands of the Creator.
Absolutely.
The other part that I want to talk about very quickly is how do we sit by and allow people, our neighbors, far removed from us, to fight our cause? Why do we seem to see politics in virtually everything that we do? Why?
There was a time when US will consult Nigeria before it takes any position or action in Africa.
Exactly.
When we went into Liberia, when we went into Sierra Leone, the US requested us and gave us support in terms of, we are behind you, and we moved our men and equipment. If you understand the story of how we landed, how we used our amphibious brigade, dropped men and equipment on the beaches of Morovia.
From Lungi.
And you visited that place.
Yes, from
how
Lungi
we fought.
to Morovia.
How we fought.
Freetown.
Yes. In fact, nostalgia, the patriotic feeling as a Nigerian, how professional soldiers moved in, dislodged the rebels, restored normalcy in a country that was almost turned into a Rwanda, where over 1 million people were killed. How many years ago we are helpless that we can handle our situation, and foreigners are helping us to not just handle our situation, dictating how our politics we go. In the past, we dictate who becomes the president of the Nigeria Republic. Nigeria's support for whoever will emerge as Ghanaian president is crucial. Most times who we support emerges across West Africa. Today, it's West Africa that is influencing who becomes.
The correct verb is worse.
Yes, in Nigeria. And some will say, even the court cases against Tinubu Tebetiaf, before the last general election, about his certificate issue, about his drug issue, is coming up again. A judge, we are reading, indeed insisting that the FBI and the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, must expedite action in releasing necessary documents. Some will also say these are lobby groups also being active in the US. So everybody now is moving into the US.
Amachi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener and our viewers on YouTube Raypower, Abuja. You see, we've gotten to that point. I've said, democracy. And as the world continues to evolve, when they talk of globalization and all of that, these are realities, that we're living with. It's not just Nigeria. Almost every other country, just like Nigerians also have interest in what happens in the US. We'll see how Nigerians, fight over themselves, over when this US election, who they are supporting, the presidential
holding protests, rallies here,
and all of that. And the fact that some Nigerians have American passports, they also vote, and all of that. So, like what used to be those days, and think it will. So people have a way of also influencing in one way or the other. Just a few days, I think last week or so, Trump said he backed the Japanese prime minister where they were having their elections over the weekend. And
same way, former U.S. president, the guy that has African descent, Obama,
yes.
told Nigerians during the Jonathan Buhari election that it's time to turn a corner. And Jonathan confessed that Donald Trump, U.S., backed the APC and push him out of power.
Yeah, it's clear. If you read his book, is it Last Hours? You know, so you get to understand. So it's been there and it will continue. Because even the democracy we have, don't forget, American groups supported the democracy activists in Nadeko and all of those going to eventually push and get to where we are. So you don't just sit, and that's why, and we're also signatories to several treaties and all of that. So, and we have considered that sovereignty. So those days when you sit and say don't interfere in internal affairs, and all of that, there are limitations as to that. But the truth of the matter, which is what we must also admit, just like at some point everybody it was a Chatham House in the UK.
Nobody will go to Chatham House
this time.
It's Capitol Hill, White House. So, and even the first lady.
You can't rule out. But then the other governors who signed, are they interested in 2027?
No,
are they interested in 2031?
It's only when you're interested that you remember your matter.
Remember that you all of that. So it will be a proposal. It's a bill. There will be a congressional hearing, and all of that. And I want to believe that that group will also, push forward to advance.
Get their own lobby groups.
And all
we'll have to go and establish a lobby firm in US. We are missing out on
even
the money.
Even in Nigeria, that is one element that is missing. In all of this mix that we have. You see, people. It's part of the democracy, the protest, and all of that. But in the US, you see more of this, lobbyists. It's a huge business. It's a legal business.
And don't be surprised, though it may not be done as brazen we do it here. Some of these millions may be given to this congressman in envelopes at night. There's a strong possibility.
You can't take that away.
You
can't take that away because it will certainly when they will say, they'll bring the facts, and all of that, and push people. You can't just bring facts now and there are several other things,
that you bring the facts, you have to bring the factors.
You have to back up the facts.
The facts with the factors.
So there are several issues. Maybe you could even be okay. Your midterm elections, your bankroll, part of the campaign, So several other things, are involved. So it's a proposal, like I said, whatever it is. I'm sure Konkoso has the capacity to express himself, defend himself,
and counter
whatever it is. But whether he will have that muscle, the way these lobbyists who have pushed that, and like we're also hearing the 2031 projection, and all of that is a different thing. But if he also has that, and because when we talk of 2031, maybe some listeners or viewers may not understand. The power is coming back to the north.
Yes.
That's the expectation.
Yes.
The power will come back
so
to the north.
People are pitching in positions
and all of that. But whether it will come and somebody from the northwest again, like Konkoso, will be in the mix is a different thing, because there are many people have opinion that when he comes back, it should be between the northeast and the north central. But you can't rule out when he comes, even in 2030, 2027, northerners
maybe Congressman Riley, when Nigeria was designated as a country of particular concern, Kwankwaso issued a tweet, a comment on his X handle, condemning the US action and saying they didn't have the facts. And the congressman responded to him on the X handle, accusing him of signing into law. That was when the first allegation came, that you're here saying these killings and targeting of Christians don't exist. Why you were the one that signed the Sharia law that prescribed death penalty for such people. I mean, just to lay a niche further. This, you don't understand why Fabio refused to entertain any discussion on that American matter, that country of particular concern. He knows that whatever he says may be used against him. And so he decided to play safe. There are few smart ones that kept quiet, but there are some others that will say, no matter what, I must speak up. So speaking up has its own implications.
It has its own implications. But again, the position Konkoso took is eventually the position of the Nigerian government. That is the position the Nigerian government took. That look, the killings are not just for Christians. Muslims are also being killed. It's not just Christians are being targeted, and all that. And that was the position.
But the Nigerian government later backtracked.
They kept on with that position. They kept on with that position. Even
that's what they have
not changed. Even
another congressman in US called continuous denial by the Nigerian government of the issues there.
Even the first lady, when they had a TV interview, she echoed that there's not only Christians that are targeted, Muslims are also. So that is the position of the Nigerian government, and a number of people.
Very, very quickly, there's a small tie back that I want to bring in.
Okay.
While the US is interested in all of these issues, tagging Kwakwanso, tagging Mietiala, and all of that, what has the Nigerian government done with the lists of sponsors of terror that was handed over some years ago?
By
That's
UAE.
a critical question. The UAE did that investigation. In their own country, they had
jailed and punished those in their country.
Prosecuted and jailed the people in their own country and sent the list over to Nigeria. Since then, mom has been the word. And I'm saying this because, my first intervention, I was saying that it is our far removed neighbor that is more interested in what's happening here in our own home than us, the Nigerian people and government.
Absolutely.
Government must wake up to the fact that, look, we cannot continue to allow this insecurity to run the way it is running in Nigeria. We must fight it wholly and not only name the sponsors, but prosecute them and let them answer for their crimes.
Now, you talked about the things that Parliament are to do, they are not doing, and foreign parliaments are doing. How are they even carrying out budget defense sessions? They shout, they fight. It's left for them to start throwing chairs. You saw what happened yesterday at the Senate, and it's not the first time, may not be the last time. Let's go for this break that will allow us, no break, we'll go straight to your mail. After your mail, we'll juxtapose parliamentary activities in Nigeria with that of you saw how detailed the congressional hearing on designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern was. Detailed, broadcast live by everybody. You saw how they brought people of different interest groups. How do we do it here? Is this a case of bar and go, protect my interests, and all that? But first, let's hear from you.
Good morning and welcome to the mail segment. I am Aicheda Majekodomi.
And I am Olamide Awiyo. Welcome. John Peters writing for Port Harcourt, and he says it is becoming increasingly clear that the Nigerian Senate, by its recent posture, appears determined to retain a system that has, over the years, sustained electoral malpractice in our democracy. The controversial clause in the amended Electoral Act, which seeks to preserve manual transmission of election results alongside processes, has raised deep concerns among well-meaning Nigerians who genuinely desire free, fair, and credible elections. For a nation that has consistently suffered from allegations of rigging, result manipulation, and post-election litigations, the insistence on manual transmission is not only disappointing, but suspicious. Transmission has historically been the weakest link in the electoral chain, a window through which electoral fraud has thrived. From missing results sheets to altered figures and hijacked collation centers, Nigerians know too well the bitter stories associated with this outdated system. This is not a partisan issue. It is a generational struggle for the soul of our democracy. The future of Nigeria cannot be built on systems designed for manipulation. It must be built on truth, transparency, and technology.
And on the same issue, Edmund Ben from Abuja says, if e-transmission of election results is passed by the National Assembly, 95% of the current politicians will not be returned to their various elected positions. This is the reason they work hard to ensure there is a backdoor to manipulate the system. The only backup available to the National Assembly, if they are sincere, is electronic backup and not manual backup. The idea of manual backup is to give room for fraud and manipulation in the name of technical glitches and open rigging. Back up your system and stop deceiving yourselves in the name of electoral amendment. God bless Nigeria.
And Ngochukwu Godwin from Lagos says the protest on the Electoral Act amendment yielded a bad result maybe we would have left it as it were without the provision or condition that if network fails, manipulation will be used. Knowing Nigerians and Nigeria politicians, this will be exploited. The 2027 elections will be marred by unforced network issues. In 1993, we queued and voted for Abiola, and the results were known all of the country without internet or technology. Where did we get it wrong that we can't trust INEC officials, police, party agents, and so on to do their jobs? Since 1999, we keep amending and it keeps leaking after spending billions of dollars. Those in INEC, police, and so on are Nigerians and friends, relatives. Why have they lost the moral compass to do the right thing? The attitude of getting rich quick and selfishness has corrupted the echo chamber of our lives. Let's think of Nigeria first and do the right thing. The change we seek begins with us.
And Yusuf Moses in Ogun State is saying, why is it that it has become a problem to reform the process by which good leaders are elected in this country? Is this what it means for one or a leader to say he or she loves his country? When you are looking for ways to cheat the country and perpetuate yourself in office against the will of the people, where is the conscience? I advise the National Assembly, led by its Senator Godswill Akpabio and the presidency, who I personally believe is dictating the tone of all this mess. Real-time mandatory transmission of results is the way forward, not the one that is backed up with manual recording of results. Otherwise, that will make way for rigging that we are trying to avoid. The senators are not even ashamed to claim that in some part of their state, there is no network. If that is the case, that is an indictment against themselves. That means they are not bringing development to their various constituents, and that should not be a problem to the generality of Nigerians.
And Mikamba from Abuja says, not all surprising though that Nigeria dropped in the latest Global Corruption Perception Index reported by Transparency International. Nigeria scores 26 out of 100 and dropping to 142 in the 2025 report. What do you expect from a country that would rather embark on building dysfunctional bus terminals, empty airports, and other white elephant projects, with several billions and trillions of naira over dilapidated and ill-equipped hospitals, health centers, and schools, just for the officials to line their pockets? Or what do you expect when, after spending over $20 billion on God knows what, the NNPCL suddenly realized that it can't make our refineries work? Then what do you expect from a country that its national grid keeps collapsing like sandcastle all the time with trillions of naira expended, and its citizens in perpetual darkness in 21st century? Is it rocket science that a country that is one of the biggest oil-producing countries in the world, with untapped several other mineral resources in commercial quantities, is the poverty capital of the world? Until we are seen to fight corruption with the seriousness it deserves, just like China and other standard climes, it's always going to be negative reports and indices.
And that's how much you can take this morning on the mail segment. Keep on sending in your mail to us with your name and where you're writing from to politicalplatform@dargroup.com.
Honorable Minister, have your mic. Take a bow and go. Take a bow and go. You're a 2-month senator. You don't know anything. You can't shut me down. These are the things we get from our own parliament. Tebe, I see you smile. You know, who was that? Okay, Dr. Osman Bugaji. I was with him on our sister station program, Focus Nigeria, yesterday. And we acknowledged and concluded that since 1999, we have been rolling back our development. We have been, the number of poor people we are manufacturing every year keep increasing. So it tells us that we are taking wrong steps in the wrong direction. And we conclude that it boils down to leadership. When a nation picks the worst people to be in leadership, this is like you get a Nigeria for you. You get typically what you're seeing here. Typically what you're seeing is in the Senate. Leadership recruitment process is so faulty that the best will not even think of going to be part of it. They will shy away from it. The worst will go in and hijack the system, and the outcome is what we're seeing today.
Yes.
Because if you look at the character and competence of many of them in the Senate, I said they are not worthy to even serve as gate men at the National Assembly complex.
Yes, that would be your thing, because the concern is very clear as to the qualifications. Once you meet those qualifications, you get your party ticket, you're already on your way.
Even if you have a present in
people will not
is it, what do they call it? What did they talk about that Buhari's?
the testimonial.
No, that thing they said, even if he presents, is okay with people.
Never bill.
Never bill. Anything you present is okay.
Yes. You know, and all of that. So it's where we've found ourselves. But there some of us, when you sit back and look at all of this, it just points to how we are getting disconnected with our governance. You will hear the shouting match and all of that, but what I take out of all of this, including even that of Senator Natasha, where the Senate Committee on Steel, what I take out of all of this is, there is no that oversight is clearly not there. Natasha yesterday said, for instance, that it's a long time that they met with the minister. That is the committee that is supposed to be supervising, oversighting the minister or the ministry and other agencies with it. So if it took a long time, and she said, you don't even know when next you are going to meet with the minister. So how would you ask questions, and get to do
so the issue of oversight
and the House of
do you need to meet the minister, or you go to the ministry and his agencies and you just write to them you're coming and you come? Why they want to meet this person? Because sometimes they want to be well hosted. You understand what I mean by well hosted? You have to make arrangements for them.
It's a fact and the factors.
Thank you for coming.
We're talking about. But beyond being hosted, and all of that, there's supposed to be an engagement. That's what I'm driving at. There's supposed to be an engagement.
So if I'm the chairman of the Senate Committee on Steel, I will write to the agency or the minister and say, I'm coming on February 20. So it's left for you to put your house in order to receive me or not. I don't need your authority to visit. I'm empowered by the commission, by the constitution, to do oversight. But that's the hard work. They don't want to do the hard work. They want to receive, thank you for coming. So they will need the consent of the host.
Maybe that February 20 that you want to come, maybe the minister is attending the meeting of Executive Council of the Federation and he's going out for another international
Okay.
There must be an agreement.
Okay.
But my concern, the other concern I also have is everybody, the ministers, the MD, the direct DGs, and everybody is going to say, give me money, give me money, give me money, add money, add money. Budget has to do with revenue and expenditure. They are not talking revenue. Ministry of Works, for instance, generates revenue. For instance, they are touring the KEFI.
No, it's not Ministry of Works, so it's a CC.
But they're supposed to be supervising that.
Yes.
It's also to recover the cost, and all of that. But there are other ways they also make money. Another ministry, nobody is talking about the revenue they are going to generate or not generate. And the minister is the spending that everybody is talking about.
Okay. Talking about generating revenue, look at who the revenue will be generated from. The NRS has raised its tax expectation for 2026 to over 40 trillion.
Yeah.
And that will come from Nigerians. But the question is, do we have commensurate services, infrastructure? Let me add to that what you discussed with Usman Bugaji yesterday on Focus Nigeria. Since 1999, take a look at the indices. The economy has gotten progressively worse. And that speaks directly to our leadership recruitment process, to our management of affairs in our little corners, whether it's an agency or a ministry or a department or a state or even the nation as a whole. Our management, we have a management problem in Nigeria. And unless we resolve all these issues by ensuring that we have the best, our first 11, the best legs in the game, we will continue to slide backwards.
Absolutely.
And revenue, the Minister of Works is already talking about selling of assets, that they're going to sell national assets in 2023 to fund budget deficit. So apart from the tax, that's the only way they're also making making revenue.
We are not serious as a country. The day we are serious, you see this federal character principle, we take it away from the constitution and throw away. These are things that, it's not that the principle is bad, but the way we have implemented
I wouldn't agree with that.
the way we
to
have
manage
implemented it.
is because those of us in the minority, if not federal character, if not zoning, if not sharing and all of that.
So you bring
we don't have
mediocrity
access
to the table.
No, it's not everywhere. In the minority,
Yes.
there are people who are competent.
That's a
But
problem.
because the people, those of you in the majority have overshadowed everybody. Those of you in the majority have overshadowed everybody.
If you're on our YouTube channel, you see them pointing at me as if I'm because of the problem.
There's another problem, Amechi.
It's a thing of you now. How do you manage
ethnic groups
Yes.
in Nigeria? How do you manage them without a federal character of commission? The real issue is enforcement of our laws.
So
we enforce
because
laws,
it's our turn.
the wrong
It's
people.
my turn.
It will get to my
It's
turn.
our turn. Our turn to bring incompetence, to bring mediocrity, and
I say it's a thief, but it's our thief.
Have a good time again tomorrow.